here.
Oh, did
There you go.
Best podcast we have.
I'd have to watch it again just to get,
An animation.
just to hear it, you know, to know what to do.
Yeah. There's notes.
You just flail around. It's okay.
Yeah. Play it around and just be amped energy. Like too many Red Bulls.
Welcome to Metroid Prime 4, episode Metroid Prime 4, recorded on Metroid Prime 4 2024. On this week's Metroid Prime 4, we talk about Metroid Prime 4. Jesse, Metroid Prime 4!
Well, folks, if you didn't realize it by now, Tim is freaking excited about what happened during this week's Nintendo Direct, as we all are. And you're listening to episode 483 of Nintendo Dads. It is June 20th, 2024. And joining us on the show tonight are three of our usual cast and special guest, Eston, producer Solo Something, Patreon producer. Eston, how you doing, buddy?
Good about you? Yeah, I know I've got.
I am fantastic. It's been listen, when I say it's been an absolute banger of a week, it's been a banger of a week. I'm excited. Lots of good stuff to talk about on the show tonight. You've already heard from Tim off, so let's throw it over here. Jesse Waldak, how you doing, buddy?
Pretty good. It's been a long day for me. I was had to start working at 4 a.m. for emergency project, and still have to work tomorrow. I was hoping to take tomorrow off and call it a comp day, but the project isn't yet complete. So I think as soon as it is complete, I'm going to say shut down.
Dude, you need to and I'm talking about shut down completely. Computer, everything. Go to a dark room with lots of air conditioning and go to bed. Man, it was incredibly hot here today. And it's only going to get hotter. I hate summer. I hate the sun. It was like 90 degrees here.
That's what we had. We had like 93. Next week,
it's sweating because you breathe weather, and I hate it.
That's what we had last week when my wife was camping.
Ugh, gross.
Which is why I don't camp, at least not the long ones. Like I did a weekend last year. I'll probably do another weekend later this year, but I'm not going to do a week. I can't do a full war like she can.
I got you. Speaking of hots, Tim off all the way up there in the cheesy north. How you doing, buddy? Yay! Listen, we're never going to hear the end of the fact that they showed 30 seconds of footage from Metroid Prime 4, even though it was really good. Tim, I'll give you that. I'm excited. I'm in.
I am.
I'll talk about that. And listen, we're going to talk about all this in the show because y'all, we've got presentations on top of presentations. We've got your comments and questions. We've got what we've been playing. So let's just deep dive right into the show right now, shall we? And of course, our news is brought to us by you guys over at patreon.com/Nintendo Dads, where for as little as $1 a month, you can join up with the greatest community on the internet, at least the greatest community that talks about Nintendo. Because you know why? Because I'll be honest with you, almost every community that I've ever been a part of on the internet has ended up as a toxic wasteland of stupidity. And so far, that has not happened. And that is why we ask you to pay to be a part of the community, because keep some of that down. That's just us being transparent. That's just us being honest. So for $1, you can get into the Discord. You can join in the banter over there. You can also, for $5 a month, you can have access to all the sub channels, which it's like a buffet. It's the Ryans of the internet. It's the golden corral of the internet. There's something for everybody over there. There, Tim. Right now, I want you to go and make a sub channel called Chocolate Fountain. Can you do that for me?
Of course I can.
All right, of course you can, because guess what? Ryan's Golden Corral got a chocolate fountain. Now we have a chocolate fountain. And so
fountain.
I mean, there's no other reason to keep you from joining patreon.com/Nintendo Dads. But wait, there's more. At the $10 level, you get pre and post show audio. And at the $30 level, you get to be Eston. You don't get to be him, but you get to be like him. You're a Patreon producer. And that means you get to be on the show and you get to hang out with us. And, you just get, I mean, we're not going to talk about like the secret Nintendo Dads underwear that you get and all those other things. Crap.
Now the whole world knows.
Yeah.
Dang it, guys. I'm sorry. Really, I am. We'll rethink that. Okay.
You want me to stand up and show the secret underwear?
No.
Okay.
Please, guys,
I can stand up right now and show it.
I've taken us down a really bad path. But let me tell you what actually is a perk of being a patron of Nintendo Dads. That is, everyone from $1 to $30 a month, you get ad-free episodes with your own feed over on patreon.com/Nintendo Dads. That's right. You don't hear a single ad. And so go sign up today if you haven't already. If you sign up for a year, you get 1 month free. Otherwise, you can pay by the month. That's patreon.com/Nintendo Dads. Now, let's talk about some news. So, tons of presentations this week. We're going to cover 3 of those presentations. The Yacht Club Games Presents. We're also going to talk about the Nintendo Direct, and we'll add a caveat or two when we get there, as well as our direct predictions that we made a few weeks ago. And then we're also going to talk about Limited Runs LRG3 that has a ton of stuff for Switch as well. So let's start with Shovel Knight, or actually let's start with Yacht Club, which actually started with Shovel Knight. Shovel Knight Dig is getting DLC in the form of a Wicked Wishes DLC this summer. It'll be available for Nintendo Switch, PC, via Steam, mobile, via Apple Arcade. Is anybody playing Shovel Knight Dig still? Or did you play a lot of it?
I'm not playing it here. No, I'm playing it. I played it when it was out, and I haven't continued it.
I only played Treasure Trove. That was about the only thing I ever played was Shovel Knight.
Yeah. I really like Dig, but the problem with Dig is I forget it exists. Is that bad? I just forget. Like, I'm like, oh yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah. That and Pocket Dungeon are kind of almost like the 2 black sheep of the family.
Sure. Well, speaking of Pocket Dungeon, it's also getting DLC this summer called the Paradox Pack. This will be available for Nintendo Switch, PS4, PC via Steam, and mobile via Netflix, although it does not give a date. It's coming soon. Pocket Dungeon.
One thing I wanted to mention, during this whole presentation, they said the word trove like half a dozen times. I'm like, okay, we get it. Stop it. Just give me the information I want.
Yeah. Is a little annoying. I don't know. They don't do these directs very often, Jesse, so they gotta break in there. Right. They need to tighten the script up a little bit. But I'll say this. I've never wanted to throw my Switch up against a wall more than playing Shovel Knight Pocket Dungeon. So if they just announced that the game was going to cease to exist and burn forever in an eternal fire, that would be fine too. Because I hate it.
The gasoline.
It's not a good game. I'm sorry. Anyway. The difficulty is way ridiculous in the game. Anyway. Kickstarter backers of Mina the Hollower got a new look at that game. I'm very, very excited about this game coming to Switch, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC.
Yeah. I didn't kickstart this, but I kind of wish I did. But this is something I think I will pick up when it comes out.
See, I'm the opposite way of you. Like, I was the person who wishes they kickstarted Shovel Knight while everybody was playing it and going, "This is awesome."
Oh,
and I think I didn't want to miss out.
I think I did kickstart the original Shovel Knight, but I really didn't like it much.
So this is, if you haven't seen Mina the Hollower, go check this out. Very Link's Awakening inspired, so looks a lot like the Game Boy version of Link's Awakening, but with a lot more added to it. Kind of the mechanic is that Mina is a mouse who can burrow underground and pop up and attack enemies. So you use that burrowing ability a lot to solve different puzzles and things. It just looks phenomenal. So it said no date yet. I was hoping we would get a date for it, but just coming soon, because I know I think they've pushed back the Kickstarter release date at least once. But anyway, we'll see.
I think it was originally supposed to be April, at least, or one of the released windows was April.
Yeah.
And then they moved it.
Shovel Knight was also mentioned, not to leave out that original game that brought success to Yacht Club. Shovel of Hope DX will release soon, including rewind save states, over 20 playable characters, local and online multiplayer, as well as the return of legacy features like the Ghost Battle Arena Custom Night, 3D stereoscopic backgrounds, body swap, bonus challenges, and built-in cheats. So if you can think of a notable character from the Shovel Knight series, you can play as them in this version. So all of the Order of No Quarter, several of the regular enemies, some of the townsfolk, you can play as everybody, and you can also play as body swap characters of those. So you can have like a female Shovel Knight or a whatever, and you build your own custom Shovel Knight with different colors and things. So that's probably going to hold people over until they also announced a new Shovel Knight game is in development. And I'm thinking that the DX version is probably to make that wait, not sting so much. No gameplay was shown, no details were given other than a new dimension of gaming is coming to Shovel Knight. So what do you guys think that means?
3D.
That would be interesting because I've only played Shovel Knight Treasure Trove, but aren't they all just kind of 2D?
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah,
okay.
everything's been 2D.
It's a holographic
Yeah.
Shovel Knight. We get to
Yeah.
play a hologram.
Going back to the 80s.
But that or they do VR. Yeah.
No,
Shovel
Hollow
Knight
Knight's a
VR.
different franchise.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go out and shovel your own yard.
There you go.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See
That
what
would
you
be good.
find and
I
log it.
I did see the announcement for that, and when they announced like the new dimension, like the Yacht Club logo, they kind of made it like turn.
They had a 3D render and it was
like
rotating.
a 3D render of that, and I was like, yeah, it's a 3D Shovel Knight. I don't know how I feel about that, but I'm not a hold judgment till I play it. I just don't like. There's a lot of the mechanics. I don't know that. I don't know. I'm an idiot. I don't what I'm saying. It could probably work, but anyway, it was a pretty good showing from Yacht Club. Mina the Hollower really the only thing that's not Shovel Knight, right? That got shown.
Yep.
So what do you guys think? Y'all excited about this Shovel Knight news? Or is it too much chivalry?
I've always thought that was a weird term, but no, I'm not really interested in any of those games. I played the original Shovel Knight maybe a level or two and dropped it and kind of never looked back.
Yeah,
I know they didn't do Shovel Knight Picross, so
that's
Not
what it
yet.
is. Yeah, I've got the amiibo, and I played, like I say, the Treasure Trove, but that was enough. Enough.
Yeah, I have the amiibo. But
Yeah. I got the Plague Knights, but I mean, I've enjoyed it just Treasure Trove, but I never really kind of got to a point where I was like, all in on this IP where I want to go out and buy everything that they have produced.
okay.
Yep, same.
And that's not for
Simple.
me thinking it's lousy. That's just
Yeah, no. I mean, it's
It's just again
different folks.
a lot of content coming out, and so pick and choose, and you
Yeah.
know, this is not at the top of my list either.
It
Unfortunately,
did kind of come
great.
it did kind of come at a time where I was like, maybe I want to play through Shovel Knight again. And then I saw the DX announcement. And I was like, nah, I think I'm gonna wait. I'll wait until I can play through it and experience all the new stuff with that.
you're gonna buy it again?
Probably, yeah. I mean, I'll anyway.
Yeah, I wonder how how hard of a sell is that getting people to buy that if they bought Treasure Trove.
Yeah.
If
I
you've
don't
never
know.
played the game before, I'm sure it's a great. That's a great.
It kind of
offer.
made me wonder if, and I didn't watch this live, was it talked about like a new game or was it talked about as like an upgrade pack for Treasure Trove?
New game.
Oh, okay. Well, see, I was hoping that it was. And so if it's Shovel of
At least
Hope
that's
DX,
at least that's how I understood it to be.
my thing here too is if it's Shovel of Hope DX, Shovel of Hope is what they call that chapter, like the one where you play just as Shovel Knight, not the additional story with
Right.
the other 3 knights. So I just wonder, is it just that game, or is all the DLC included in this DX version?
They didn't say anything about the other, like the King's Knight and the
Oh,
Flag
yeah.
Knight.
But you can play as them, so that's
You
why
can
it kind of
play
made
as
me
them.
think. Yeah.
You can play as them in the original campaign. Yes.
Well, if it's not that, then I may skip it and just keep the treasure trove and I'll just do a playthrough there. Anyway,
Well,
I
we'll
just
probably
like it
find
'cause-
out more when it comes out.
Yeah, I mean it reminds me of a lot of Mega Man, so I guess that's why I love it so
True.
much.
I can see that.
Let's talk Nintendo Direct.
Woohoo.
Huge direct. And just as a caveat for you guys who are listening to us or watching us as we record this, Tim and I have already said everything we're going to add to what Eston and Jesse are saying. But really, if you would like to hear or see our reactions to this, there's a couple of ways you can do that. This is actually part 2 of episode 483. Part 1 was an after the direct talk session that Justin and Tim and I did. And so that's actually out right now in your podcast feeds and on YouTube as well. So if you want to go look at that, you can go find them there and find out what we had to say. But Jesse and Eston were not able to be with us during that time for whatever reason. And so we want to turn this time around to you guys and let you talk about what you loved about this direct. Just for a clarification here, I do want to say this on the front of the time. 32 games mentioned.
Yeah, I'm trying to
20
pull up everything. I'm
yeah.
like, God, that's a lot of games.
23 of those games have been added to our future release list. The link
So
to the presentation.
So like the games that were out today, I didn't add them, and then things we already knew about,
Sure.
like Nintendo World Championships. So that didn't change anything.
Yeah. So not counting the games that were out today, which were mostly updates. I think there was one game that was a shadow drop. Everything else was updates. That's 23 games we knew nothing about. So that's pretty good. Length of the presentation ended up being 42 minutes and 49 seconds. That is the time between the ESRB logos and to the Nintendo logo at the end. So let's talk. Jesse, you and Edson, let's let it rip, Tater Chip. What did you guys think about this direct?
I thought the length was nice because I predicted 42 minutes.
I liked it. I give it a good A, solid A. For them to come out of the, from being quiet since September, I think they definitely, answered the call, what people were wanting. I thought somewhere, I feel it's like it was one of the really highly viewed directs, one of the most viewed ones in a long time. And it's been breaking radio silence, and I think it shows what they've been up to.
Spawnwave usually has a poll for his viewers, for his community, saying, how do you rate it? And normally B or C gets the most votes, but this one, I think 56% said A. And I agree. This is probably one of the best directs I have ever seen. And you know how picky I am with my directs. I always say there's usually 2 or 3 games I like. There was more than 2 or 3 games in this one that I'm looking forward to.
That's awesome. So Jesse, then let's talk about that. What did you like? Obviously we know one of these because you've been talking about it for months, maybe a year. But what else did you like?
Maybe 3 years? Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D remake?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that. Do we have a full date? I think we have a release date on that one now. Yeah, that's November 14. And then the rumors were that the whole Erdrick trilogy was going to be remade, and they announced that 1 and 2 will be released next year. They made it look like it's going to be like a single package, similar to like the Game Boy. When they released it on Game Boy, there was 1 and 2 in a single cart. Same when they did the Super Famicom remake, they did 1 and 2 on the same cart. So it sounds like that's what they're going to do here. So I'll definitely be picking up all 3 of those games when they come out.
Okay.
Would you get the collector's edition?
Yes, actually I did. I pre-ordered the collector's edition to DQ3.
Ah,
that was a $200 drop.
you're a top shelf spender.
Yeah. I almost forgot about that already.
Okay.
I think the next game I'm looking forward to is Mario and Luigi Brothership. You know, Mario and Luigi's kind of the successor to the Paper Mario games. And we haven't had a Mario and Luigi game since Alpha Dream's last one, almost 9 years ago. And when they folded, we didn't think we'd ever see one of these again. But we're seeing one again. And though I remember the last 2 being a little but this one so far looks like it's hitting what the original few games did well, like Superstar Saga, Bowser's Inside Story, and whatnot.
Do you think that Alpha Dream or what's left of Alpha Dream after it went away, that there's people from that working on this? Because, man, I'm gonna tell you,
I think
the art style was on point, the humor was on point, the bros attacks were on point.
I think they did announce the company working on it, and it was one I'd never heard of. So it's possible. I don't know if any former Alpha Dream devs have moved to that company, or this is just a completely new group of people. I'm not sure.
I'm looking that up. It is I'm looking. Keep talking. I'll find it.
While you're looking, then probably the next game that I'm looking forward to and kind of going to be pretty dubious actually on this one is trying to find it in the notes so I can get the subtitle right. It's just the Zelda game. I can't find it.
Oh, you're talking about
Echoes of Wisdom.
Echoes of Wisdom.
Yep, Echoes of Wisdom. Yep.
Yeah. So a game that's more puzzle centric than combat centric. Yeah, I like some puzzle games, but there are also some puzzle games I just don't like. So I'm kind of got my side eye on that one. I'll get it and try to play it, but if it ends up being something that I don't like, I will drop it.
So, Jesse, what I'm finding about the developer of Brothership is nobody knows right now. However, Nintendo did employ several Alpha Dream employees after the studio fell apart. And guess where they all went to work? Monolith Soft.
Okay.
Or Monolith. So it is a very... I think it maybe is a foregone conclusion that Monolith is helping. Maybe Monolith Soft is doing this game.
You know, Monolith. I think Monolith is a company that tends to help with mini games.
So
right?
Hiroyuki Kubota, who was the writer and game designer for the series, is now employed at Monolith Soft. Okay. So it wouldn't surprise me if we saw their logo in the credits somewhere.
Then
for this.
Is Echoes of Wisdom a Grezzo game?
Ooh.
IGN was talking like it was, but I didn't see any proof personally to back that up.
I hope Monolith is busy working on 2 of the Xenoblade Chronicles 4 for the Switch 2, because I'd like to see that in upres graphic. I'll make that plug while we're talking Monolith.
Anyway, but yeah, also the thing about the Zelda game is I was not a fan of that plasticky toy art style with the Link's Awakening remake. So yeah, I kind of wasn't happy to see that art style come back, but still happy to see a new Zelda. And in terms of my predictions, I'm counting this because this is definitely a not normal Zelda game.
It wouldn't surprise me if Grezzo was the one doing this. Because did they not do Link's Awakening as well?
I don't remember. But I know they've done, like, I think they did Ocarina of Time, in 3D. A lot of the older games
Grezzo
remakes.
did do Link's Awakening.
Okay,
So
it makes sense
me.
then for them to do
They would
this.
they would have
in
all
the
they would
same
have
art
the
style.
assets. They would have all of that. So yeah. So anything else stick out to you?
Do a quick scroll. Fantasian. I'm gonna want to give that one a look when it comes out this holiday. Apparently that's been on Apple Arcade, and I'd never heard of it,
It has.
until the rumors came around a few weeks ago. I bet Justin was all excited about Donkey Kong.
He was.
Oh, then the new NSO games that Shadow dropped. So I streamed the first hour and a quarter or so of Metroid Zero Mission, and then I finished it this afternoon for a playtime of about 3.5 hours.
Man, it's so good. It is Metroid perfection.
I was kind of surprised to see Stray. Oh, Ace Attorney Investigations. I don't know if I'm going to pick this one up because I did rent the first one on DS and didn't really dig it much. But I know people who do like these games and have been clamoring for the second one that's never been released outside of Japan. So I'm sure they're happy.
Okay.
And then since I talked about my prediction points, I'm also counting Romancing Saga 2, Revenge of the Seven. That is a remake of a 1993 Famicom game.
Okay.
So I think I got 2 out of 3 points. And I only missed the third point by a day because I predicted it was going to be on Wednesday instead of Tuesday.
Just to interrupt real quick, Gaming Dad's in the chat, and Gaming Dad, he's got a question. Says, "Are you guys surprised that we didn't get Plucky Squire info or Silk Song?" And before you guys answer, I want him to come on the show and ask that question because we want you back on the show, bud. So
yes,
let's get.
We were just talking about that before the show. I was like, "Hey Tim, you should reach out to Gaming Dad and ask him to be back on the show again."
Yes, it's summertime.
So
you don't have to worry about school, right?
We can talk about video games and we can talk about Buc-ee's.
Yes.
All right, my favorite place. Okay, so answer that question then. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know what Plucky Squire is, but I do know what Silk Song is.
It was announced last year, like the storybook where the character jumps out and interacts with real life.
Yes. Okay.
And then another game that with a similar premise released, and Tim and I both enjoyed that.
Yes.
So I'm kind of not surprised we didn't see them. I would expect to see them as part of an indie.
Yeah. So somebody in the chat just said this too. Let's talk about, since we're on the subject of let's talk about where Wind Waker and Twilight Princess are.
Yeah. So Beer's in here. He's saying he's disappointed in this because
I was disappointed, and
he said it was due. And before you go there, what I was trying to say to him in the chat was due for who? Because it was never anything Nintendo said they were going to do. So
it's just been rumored for 4 years.
It's just been rumored so much that obviously, everybody's built up that hype for it and wanted it, and now are disappointed they didn't get it. And so
same with Prime 2 and 3.
Why exactly? It's like, why let those predictions or what other people are saying should happen ruin your time with the Direct? Don't let it ruin your time with Direct. Go with what you know is actually going to happen, or don't know what's going to actually happen, and have low expectations.
Here's my my thought on this is that Nintendo really has flaunted since Four Swords, like, or I saw a graphic that came out after this, and I don't know if Nintendo did it, but they have talked about this before. It's like, look at all the Zelda games you can play on Nintendo Switch, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Look
They've
at
done
all
that
the
before.
look at all the Zelda
before
games that you can play. Look at all the Metroid games now you can play. Look at all the Mario games you can play. To
Mhm.
me, it would make sense for them to put Wind Waker and Twilight Princess on there,
Yes.
or
To complete that bingo card.
are they waiting until Switch 2 so that they can do GameCube and Wii Virtual Console editions to NSO and do the
That's a
original
possibility.
versions, because that's what
I
they
don't
did
want
with
the
Majora's
original
Mask.
versions again.
I don't
want
either.
The remake.
I would like the remake. And so, and so again, it's a case of what we want versus what we get. I did think that we were going to see, that was my only expectation going in this. I really had low expectations and really enjoyed the direct because of that. But I was like, we got to the end. I was like, huh, I really thought we were going to see Twilight Princess and
Presuming it is on the shelf, just
Woodpecker.
waiting for its time. If we didn't have,
They didn't need to do anything because they brought out the NSO game, and then they also brought out a new Zelda game.
right. If they didn't have Echoes of Wisdom, right. If Echoes of Wisdom wasn't going to be ready, then they would.
And we're speculating.
Pull it off.
We're speculating that it's
on the I'm shelf. Saying if it's on a shelf. I don't know.
It may not even be there, and they're all just laughing their asses off. That's because of that.
That's how I felt the whole time. I felt the internet was trying to will it into existence because everything is getting each HD remake. So they figured, well, it's only natural that these two Zelda games would be next to be made into an HD remake. So let's just go ahead and let's just roll it out.
My thought on this too is kind of, and I know we're going to talk about Metroid Prime 4 later, but let me say this. I was telling a friend of mine who is not in our Discord, shame on him if he's listening to the show. You need to get in there, Jeremy.
Balled out.
I was talking to him, and he was like, so where can I play Metroid Prime 2 and 3? And I was like, on the Wii. It's nowhere. Honestly, since I'll just go there. Okay. Since Retro and Nintendo are choosing to follow through with the 100% ending on Metroid Prime 3 and bring back Silex, I think there has to be Metroid Prime 2 and 3 available for people to play before Prime 4 comes out, because it's been so long. I can't see them logically leaving a gap between 1 and 4 and not having that story complete. Especially since Metroid Prime 4 is probably going to be the last big Switch game that's on Switch, right? I still think it's going to be on both, but it's going to be the last big release. They promised it for Switch owners. It's going to be there.
When they announced 2025, I think that cemented it will be both.
Yes. The other thing I think is this, is that I do believe that we'll get some kind of update, maybe a direct, maybe in September, where we get those games. Metroid Prime 2 and 3.
That's what I was saying during our last video.
And also that maybe we'll get Twilight Princess and Wind Waker at that too. And they'll be like, hey, since you love Zelda and Metroid so much, here's some more Zelda and Metroid games. And it's playing the little direct music behind it.
That would be nice, but I doubt it since we already have something new coming for Zelda. Well, it'd be a nice surprise. But it doesn't build towards the story of Wisdom either.
No.
Echoes of Wisdom.
But guess what? It's my dream.
Okay. I do like the idea of 2 and 3 coming in September though, because and I think the speculation that we heard is a possibility that they're not going to remaster them. They're going to be the original ones, maybe with tweak controls.
They'll have to have tweak controls.
It'll come in a 2 and 3 package, kind of like Pikmin 1 and 2.
Especially with how because 3 is very motion control heavy.
Motiony, very
Yeah.
motiony.
It was very Wii-y.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we can't say it's not possible anymore since they did Skyward Sword and they redid those controls on that one. So
Yeah.
Yeah, but motion controls on the Switch aren't great. You know, I remember playing Pikmin 3 with the motion controls, and I'm recentering every 30 seconds.
I don't play
It
any
just-
with the motion controls like Skyward Sword. I did that whole thing with like the Pro controller.
I wanted the Pro controller with Skyward Sword. That's what I wanted when it came out.
I also played Skyward Sword motion control with
Mario Party
100%,
game. The only time I do a
except for the
motion
pumpkin mini game. I had to use a controller for that.
That pumpkin minigame. Oh, I have PTSD. I have pumpkin traumatic stress disorder.
Right.
Eston, let's switch over to you. What are some highlights? What stood out to you in the direct?
Sure. Let me look at the list. I'm be off camera from y'all. So, Mario and Luigi Brothership. I'm looking forward to picking that one up. It's always great to have a Mario game. Yeah, and far as the next one up, I like the art style of this one. I already saw some pictures on Nintendo Life leading into the direct on this one. So, the Fantasian, and so the Neo Dimension. So I'm looking forward to seeing more on that game, seeing what the story is about. Really like how it looks. Like John's wife mentioned on his podcast, the Dads After Dark podcast. Michelle mentioned, I'm looking forward to like Mio, Memories in Orbit. I think they really did great when they introduced that with like the video. It was kind of, I felt that really gripping as far as like grabbing your attention. Really kind of wondering what's this all about. I'm a huge Ori fan. Love platformers, roguelikes. I pretty much throw those in the trash. Don't care for them, but pretty much like any kind of like platform, I was really loving what that kind of looked like. So I was like really jumping on board, like saying, "Oh, this definitely, I'm writing this one down because I want to follow this one and see what it's all about." Um, Donkey Kong Country Returns HD. I definitely will pick it up. I mean, I always found a Donkey Kong Country game fun to play. I have Tropical Freeze. I enjoyed it. I know we were discussing some in the Discord chat one time about TNC's surf design from the old NES, and that Funky Kong is a rip from a character that actually a gorilla is actually in there that Nintendo rebranded.
Yes.
That guy. And I wholeheartedly believe that's what happened. Actually, I have that T-shirt running around with that. But the next up going down my list as far as like ones I wrote down, we play a lot of Mario Party actually in my house as far as family nights and stuff. So I was happy to see Super Mario Party Jamboree come out with a lot of different like maps and stuff. I find it seems like listening to the community talk, sometimes Mario Party games really have a love-hate relationship among like the fan base out there. I like the Mario Party games, and I think it's a great little like kind of like interactive board game. So I really like looking forward to having that and having like more boards to play through with like friends and family. I don't do much on the online, but it looks like they really beefed up the online from what I can tell from the advertisement. And then of course, you can probably see anybody looking at the back wall back there. I'm dyed in the wool Zelda fan. I've been wanting to play as Zelda for the longest time. I know you got to play her in what was that MOBA game that we got for a while back, but that was just kind of in that nature. Got to play. Remember, in Tears of the Kingdom, we got some moments to play with her, but this is a more of a full-fledged kind of in a Princess Peach-esque, if you will, kind of version where she gets her own game dedicated to her. I know it's toy-esque type in nature, but I didn't mind it. I mean, it's only thing I'm hoping is I hope that it's not like the last toy-esque Zelda game they made. I hope this game has a little more meat to it and that it's not just something you can beat in one weekend. So I hope it definitely is there. And I do like how they have the actual feature with her as far as you can actually change change the environment to manipulate things. A little callback to Tears of the Kingdom and how they did that. I'm not sure. I was talking we were talking some with Andros. I'm not sure how much you can kind of keep in your quiver as far as like how many of those how much stuff you can kind of
I bet there's an upgrade for that you can buy.
Yeah. And probably is. And then And then as far as I like Stray is coming over to the Switch. You know, I know a lot of people, pretty much everyone I've heard it say Stray, they say it in the same sentence. It doesn't look as good on the Switch. But who's to say in the Switch 2 comes out that these games won't be up-res for the Switch when you dock them? So, I mean, I'm glad that people are getting able to play Stray if they only own a Switch, because I think Stray is a wonderful little charming game. And the more
Real
people that
quick,
have a way to play that, the better.
real quick on the Stray thing, I actually came across a video on YouTube where they have the Stray clips, from each the PS5 and the Switch side by side. And for me, if you're a graphics nerd and you're into that stuff, then you're probably going to see differences. But for me, I barely saw differences between the two.
I don't,
So
I was looking at it and I'm like, Stray doesn't need to be 4K.
yeah,
I've always felt, I mean, some games need to be 4K. I get it. Some games don't need to
the
be 4K.
environments are great when I played it on PS5, and it was,
Yeah.
to see the environments there and the backgrounds and be able to see far. But if you only have a Switch and you don't have access to a PS5, by all means, play Stray on the
Yeah, it's gonna
Switch.
The
look.
It's
same
going
thing
to,
that we
gonna
said
look
about
good.
Hogwarts Legacy,
I
yes,
think
right?
it's going to look good. And so,
yes.
and then as far as like another game that, I mean, of course, I mean, everyone that knows me knows that like I've got like a Nero kind of, I don't know, I almost probably need help with my infatuation with the Horizon and Aloy. So Lego Horizon Adventures, I love the fact that PlayStation on some level, a la Guerrilla Games, is starting to kind of branch out and share some stuff and assets with Nintendo. Up to this point, I know it's just been Smash characters, but now we actually have like an actual game coming over where some Switch players can actually experience some of that whole entire, like, not just a character, but actually now immersion in that world. I mean, you saw bristlebacks, you saw stalkers, you saw tall necks. I mean, I could just go in and name the machines. And so that's so awesome that people can now play in that world and get familiarity with, like, these are those machines from that game, from that world. And, I mean, I encourage anybody to, like, definitely pick up that game and play it. Just if you like Lego games, enjoy it. And then it's not coming from the same company that does the Lego game. So it'd be interesting to see like how they make a twist on it. It won't be your traditional kind of like rinse and repeat Lego game. So I'm interested to see how they make it their own and set themselves
Yeah,
aside.
I think that I read after Justin had mentioned it the other day in our talk back about the direct, that Traveler's Tales is not the one that's developing this Lego game. It's actually Studio Gobo or something like that. And they are responsible for helping with Redfall on Xbox, and with another pretty high profile game. Uh, and what he remarked was that it looked like they were that it was more along the lines of the what am I trying to say here? More along the lines of the Lego movie game that came out a
Yeah.
few years ago. So
Yeah.
I was looking here. Gobo has worked with Gorilla, Ubisoft, WB Games, Disney, Pixar, Codemaster, Lucasfilm, Hasbro, Marvel. They helped with Avalanche with Hogwarts Legacy. They helped with Redfall. They were also very instrumental in Disney Infinity back in the day. Disney Infinity 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, and 4.0. So, I don't know what they did there, but they at least collaborated on those games. So the game looked really good on Switch, the footage that we saw.
Yeah, I
And
think it looks really good. I don't think,
very open world, and so
I
that's
don't
the
think
whole
if you're playing on
point.
Switch, I don't think if you're playing on Switch, you're going to feel like a Mortal Kombat type experience where you feel like you're kind of settling to play it here. So, I mean,
Absolutely.
part and parcel, it might be a way of people feeling like, hey, this might be a way for people to kind of come into a little bit of the PlayStation fold and like have some experience there. And although I know PlayStation players that really hate on the Horizon series and just think it's hot trash rolling downhill, Why, I don't know. And I defend it in every Discord I'm in, almost to the point where sometimes I feel like I can get kicked out of the Discord. But I stand by my guns. So, the hell with the rest. As far as moving on, Metro Prime 4 Beyond, I like that. What I saw a lot of people have been kind of saying that they didn't like the way the graphics they saw and stuff like that. I want to say, if I remember right, they were saying, that this is just kind of like a working order. And so I think it might be one, like I already was thinking immediately, which I've already echoed, that it's something that's going to be released simultaneously, like on Switch OLED and then Switch 2. So I think what it's going to see is like you're going to see a nicer version on the Switch 2.
I really think it's funny that that gaming as a hobby has devolved to the point where people literally started dissecting and arguing over a 2-minute teaser trailer about textures. These textures look like something that can't be done on the Switch. Da da da. And
Yeah.
well, Retro's good at what they do, or blah blah blah. And it's just back and forth. And I mean, as soon as it was over, the discourse started of this is what they've been doing for 7 years. And
It made me actually laugh out loud because people have been talking about, we want Metro Prime 4. We want Metro Prime 4. I've been hearing nothing but that. As much as I hear talk about Silk Song, it's almost like vomitous. And then to the point now where they show a clip of Metro Prime 4, it immediately goes to where like, oh, okay, well now let's go into like negativity and negativity.
Yeah.
Negativity.
Well, there's
just like, I'm like,
a lot of
Nintendo at some
negativity out
point
there.
probably wants to just throw the clipboard and all the sheets up into the air and be like, well, we can't win from losing, bros.
Right. Well, with you guys talking about your favorite parts of the direct, let's get into our results from the June direct predictions that we did on May 23rd. If you go back to episode 479, you can actually hear these. So if you want to pause this episode, put a pin in it, and go back and listen to that episode before you hear the results of these, you can play along at home and see who's right. So I'll start, because I'm definitely losing this one. Here were we settled on 3 predictions and then wild cards. I believe, gentlemen, did we say wild cards don't actually count for points?
Right.
Right.
Yeah, we were just counting the 3 points, and then maybe there would be a bonus with the wild cards. But
yeah.
Yeah.
So here are my 3 predictions. Metroid Prime 4 gets a release date and a trailer. I am going to say I get a point for that because I'm not getting a point with my other 2. It did get a release date, 2025. It did get a trailer.
Yes,
right.
You got a point.
Yes, because that saved me from having 0 points. My second prediction was
because I got 0 points. Yeah. I want to be the one with 0 points.
Twilight Princess and Wind Waker ports for my second prediction. That's a big I didn't get that. And then my other was Super Smash Brothers N64 comes to NSO. That's also a big X. That did not happen. My wild card was Pizza Tower. Again, we did not see Pizza Tower coming to the Switch. I don't get it. It's like that game is made for Switch. And as someone said, maybe it was Justin, he said it'll come out the same week as Anton Blast. And that's probably exactly what will happen. It will launch the same day. And then I'll buy both of them. But anyway, Casey predicted.
Before you do that, Marty, breaking
yeah.
news. Gaming Dad signed up to be on the show next week.
Oh, awesome. So episode 484 next Thursday will feature Gaming Dad as our guest. That's awesome. I'm excited for him to be back on the show.
I won't live up to Gaming Dad. I'll go off the show now.
Listen, everybody is good in their own right. So
yes.
Look, we like all of our guests.
Yep. We just been trying to get him on for a while. Get him back on because he hasn't been on for a while.
Casey's predictions. New Donkey Kong Country. I'll give him a point for that.
It's not new.
It's new to Switch.
It's new to Switch.
So does that mean he doesn't have to shave his head?
That means he does not have to shave his head. We had already determined that in the Discord. He also said June 25th for the Direct, which was wrong. But he also predicted that Dragon Quest III HD 2D would be a part of this production or presentation. So 2 points for Casey. His wild card was Rivals 2, release date That's a big X. He did not get that. Justin, with his 6 wild cards. Justin predicted Metroid Prime 4 gets a release date in a trailer. And then he also said One Last Thing released in October 2024. Did he say One Last Thing as a separate piece of that?
I think it's like
he said
3
it would be
predictions
a
in one.
He
So
said it
he
would be
predicted-
one last.
Yeah, he predicted it'd be last, and that was.
It was, so I'll give him a point for that. He also
But he was also
correctly-
saying it was going to be.
So should we give him 2/3 of a point?
It was supposed to be a release date of October 2024, but it's not.
I mean, I'm in favor of just not giving him any points because he's not here.
Yeah. So our discussion is that line, that bullet is 1 point. So
It's all or nothing.
that was
huh?
his one line. Yeah.
So
So-
close, yet so far away.
Like Marty, if yours was, we just got a trailer, but no release date, you would not have got a point.
Oh, I got you. New Mario Party game announced was his second one. That's a point. He got that. His third prediction was Silk Song. No, not at all. His wild cards were Wind Waker, Metroid Prime 2 and 3, Sea of Thieves, Hi-Fi Rush, Hades 2 announced for 2025, and a
Yeah,
first look at Call of
pretty
Duty
much
on the Switch.
All the wild cards got no points.
He gets nothing. So you have
System
1 point.
wide.
You're like me.
All 3, yeah, got 0 points on
You're
wild
just
cards.
like me, Justin. You're just like me.
Before, yeah.
Jesse predicts June 19th, third Wednesday of the month for a direct. Man, one
Off
day
by
off.
1.
He said something new, a Zelda game announcement, a different side game. Correct.
That's it. I'm counting that.
Also,
that's 1 point.
An old RPG or JRPG game will be ported to the Switch. Romancing Saga 2 counts for that. I would also say I would let Fantasian count for that because it is older. It is being brought to the Switch, ported to the
Well,
Switch from arcade.
When I was thinking old, that's not old. That's not what I was thinking. I was thinking more Dreamcast, PS1, or earlier.
Okay. Well, I'll give you 2 points. You did good. You had no wild cards though, so that's okay. Tim, your predictions.
I got 0.
A Tomodachi Life game.
Yep.
Okay.
0.
Mario sports game like basketball or baseball, even something new like football. We're sorry. All we can do for you is Looney Tunes.
Looney Tunes
And
Sports.
Nintendo Sports.
Nintendo Switch Sports. Third prediction, a Kid Icarus Uprising port. Yeah. Your
0.
wild card predictions, Nintendogs.
Still trying. I got to get it this year.
It's just
He wants-
if we ever do a prediction show and you don't say Nintendogs, guess what's going to happen?
I said this is the last year I'm saying it. So next year we'll
he-
probably get Nintendogs.
He wants to will it into existence.
Fire Emblem game.
You're
Is it-
welcome. You're welcome, everybody who didn't want a Fire Emblem game because we didn't get one and I didn't get a point. So you're welcome.
Dude, listen, we have had so many Fire Emblem games on Switch.
Well,
Give
I
me a
remember
break.
I predicted a Fire Emblem remake last year, but no, we got a new game instead.
Xenoblade Chronicles X. Nope.
Nope.
And a new Sonic game.
Not even a new Sonic game. Not
Well, I
even a
mean, you
new
could,
Sonic
you
game.
know, is the Sonic Generation Shadow thing new? Sure, but they didn't even talk about it.
Nope.
In the, in the,
It wasn't.
in the
There was
show.
no new Sonic game mentioned in the direct,
Nope,
so I got
no.
0 points. I win 0 points.
You
Woo!
want golf? It's a golf score. You win. The
Is that
true
how
winner
it
of
goes?
this round of predictions, though, is Jesse and Casey, who now have to battle it out in a cage match to determine the winner of the predictions. So I will create.
No, it's not a cage match. It's a haircut match.
Oh, okay. Well, the loser cuts their hair. What we'll do is I'll create Casey in AEW, and we'll do an exploding barbed wire death match.
There you go.
And
There you
there
go.
you go. Whoever the computer picks to win, that's it. That's who
Yep.
wins our predictions this
I
year.
got my haircut this weekend, and I'm not going
He says he's not doing anymore.
No
I'm
more.
not going to go any smaller than this.
Yeah.
I am going to say this though, as kind of we're at the halfway point. It looks like I got quite a few points out of all my predictions though for the year out of this direct, just to say.
All right, Tim may be holding on to the belt. We actually got a couple of questions from the community about our thoughts on the direct, so I'll serve these up to you. Hoots asked us, feels like there's a lot of 2025 games coming to the Switch after last week's direct. What do you think this says about when the Switch 2 will be announced / released? And after the games on display, would you be upset about a late 2025 Switch 2 release?
I wouldn't like it, but it kind of wouldn't surprise me. So the fact that they're saying that they'll talk about it sometime before April, so that leaves the door open that they don't say a word until March 31st, which means we're not getting it until September at the earliest. I'm hoping for earlier, but I won't be surprised if that's kind of what happens.
Any other thoughts, guys?
I agree with him. I think it'd be like spring 2025. That's what I'm thinking.
The thing is that the thing that doesn't make me care about this is that regardless of whether we got games announced for 2025, from what, again, we're assuming, we don't know yet for sure, but it looks like Switch 2 will be backwards compatible. So it won't matter about all these games that were announced. We're going to still be able to play them on Switch 2.
This isn't a Wii U situation where they literally cut tail and ran. The moment Switch launched, I think there's going to still be a time where they'll still make some Switch games. They'll still make new consoles to sell on the shelves for probably at least a year or two, side by side with the Switch 2.
Yeah.
So if they follow the same thing they've learned from the Switch when they launched it, potentially what they learn, again, we don't work for Nintendo, so we don't know, but if they launch it in March, get all of us Nintendo, people who want that day one and get it out of the way so they have supply for the holidays later on, it makes sense if they do it earlier in the year. But if they're building up the supply and it will be later in the year, then it makes sense then too. So
I kind of think that the 2025 dates that we've seen, if you notice, guys, there was nothing Nintendo first party that had a solid date after Donkey Kong in January. So we could see, and I'm not saying this is going to happen, but we could see Donkey Kong in January, Metroid Prime 4 in February or March, and then a Switch 2 launch in May or June.
Yeah, again, it's only summer direct too, so we weren't going to see a lot into 2025 anyway. So if we see something more telling in the September direct that we're thinking might happen, then we can.
I'm like Gaming Dad. Gaming Dad in our chat says I would not like a late release, and I am the same way. I would rather it come out earlier in 2025. But if we follow, do I think that Nintendo is going to follow the same timing structure as when they release Switch? Info like here's the preview, here's the event, here's the release. Yes, I do. Because it worked.
Yeah, knowing Nintendo doesn't do this often, I think they've only done it 2 or 3 times. We both already said today we think Metroid will be multi-generation game. Wouldn't surprise me this time around if more than one of these games gets the multi-console treatment with the successor getting downloaded enhancement patch or something.
Yeah. Spider Shan Ask this: what is everyone's most anticipated game for Switch yet to release this year?
Mario and Luigi.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time. It's a coin flip between Mario and Luigi and the Echoes of Wisdom. Because
I feel the same way. So I'll say
Yeah.
one and you say the other.
All right.
I'm going Echoes of Wisdom.
All right. I'll go with the Mario and Luigi.
What about you, Eston?
I'd say that goes with wisdom.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. So we're 2 for 2 here.
Good deal. That's right. It is Nintendo Dad's most anticipated game of 2024. It's official as of tonight. Koopa Kid asks us this: do you feel the remake of Donkey Kong Country Returns coming in January was a good choice for Nintendo to choose and release at that time? I feel like there are probably better suited Wii and Wii U games that would have sold more or given underutilized IP exposure at that time. Rhythm Heaven, Xenoblade Wii U, Punch Out, etc. With Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze already out on Switch, I don't think it sold that well. I just don't know if this release will gain any traction. Would love to hear your thoughts.
And I posted this when he posted this in Discord, I posted it at the last numbers we saw for Tropical Freeze was 5 million units, or close to 5 million units. So,
So
which to me it seems like it's
that's
sold well.
kind of what I would have expected.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sold well enough for a DK game, I think.
Mhm.
So,
also, there's momentum for Donkey Kong coming off the Mario movie.
yeah.
So this is the
And-
first Donkey Kong game after the Mario movie. So you got a ton of kids who saw Donkey Kong and loved him, and maybe didn't know about his games before, and now, oh, there's a new game.
Yep. It gives an opportunity for a lot of new players to be able to play it since they didn't get to play it maybe on the 3DS or even whatever it was on before, Super Nintendo when it first came out. But yeah, it's from in our Discord, it seems very weird. In our Discord, people don't seem like they're happy about the Donkey Kong Country Returns HD coming. But when I'm out and about, like I went to GameStop today and I was at it was today, and then on some of the other Discords, but at GameStop, that's all I heard was people talking, like people coming in the store, hey, you got any of these Nintendo Direct things I can pre-order? I want that DK game and all that kind of stuff. So I got to talking to a couple guys there at the GameStop, and they were all excited about the DK game, to be able to play it again for one person, and then another person was like, yeah, my kids are going to be able to play it.
Yeah. You see, guys, what this is telling us is the streets are ready for Donkey Kong. The streets want
are
Donkey
ready.
Kong. They're all about DK. So, yeah. Well, that's our thoughts on Nintendo's
Wait.
Direct. Oh,
Sorry, Marty. We got a few questions also in the chat too. So did Nintendo win E3 this year? Gaming
yes.
Dad asks.
Yes. I saw
And-
somebody earlier in this chat say that Xbox won non E3 this year. Pshaw.
because of Doom Dark
Pshaw.
Ages.
That's one game. One. Nintendo had 33. Come at me, bro. They won. Jason Schreier said they won too, so he wins.
Yes. And then is
So
anybody go ahead.
we didn't even mention the new Switch Lite, the gold color with the Hyrulean crest on the back.
Right.
Because you're not going to be able to find it.
My son says he's
So-
going to look. He's probably going to pick one up, even though he doesn't play Lite much. But
And
he
then
has a Lite already.
Gaming Dad is also asking if is anybody picking up the Horizon Lego game?
Me?
Definitely.
I'm not. I'll pass.
And I'm still contemplating going back to that Switch Lite Zelda one.
That's
I'm
a
still
video
contemplating
game.
on
Look,
like doing
look.
the whole download thing.
the Lego Horizon game is a game my wife will actually play with me. So you better believe I'm buying that.
Okay,
Okay.
Star Wars Dad's biased here.
Star Wars Outlaws wins the summer. No, because it's not out. It's anyway. Any other questions before we move on?
Yeah. Uh, Victor says, "Is anyone else hyped for the new Marvel vs. Capcom arcade compilation?"
Yes. Yes. In fact, I think that's what my son was most excited about
Yeah,
because
we
he gets
talked
to play
about that in our
Marvel
video.
versus Capcom 2. And he had just said a couple of days before, he's like, "Man, I wish I could play could play Marvel versus Capcom 2 on the go and not at my PC." Here you go, son. From your
Okay.
You should have
lips to
told him, "Hey, I
God's
made some
ears.
calls for you."
From your
I made
lips
some
to
calls
God's
for you.
ears. I
So-
after he said that though, I looked at him and I said, "Can you, before the next Nintendo presentation, say, man, I sure would like to play Twilight Princess and Wind Waker on my Switch."
There you go.
There was some talk on their Discord about if people are going to be confused about Nick Fury not looking like Samuel L. Jackson because this is a game from pre-Ultimate Universe
Yep. Well, they'll get
and
over it.
pre-MCU. The arcade was made in '93.
Who's this white guy with an eye patch? Uh,
Exactly.
you know, anyway, so also I would here's another question here. Where's our Punch Out remake? It's in hell. That's where it is because they just won't give it to us. We need a new Punch Out game more than every 20 years. Another question here. Is this DK game the rumored DK game in the works? It's very possible
Possibly.
that it could be. And that's sad if it is. Because I would like I want
We
an
need a new
Odyssey
one.
style. I want an Odyssey style Donkey Kong game. Like make it play like that.
Yeah.
Give me 3D Donkey and don't make it run around in the jungle and collect 500 billion banana coins.
Say,
No.
but DK64, but good.
Well, to do that they would have to burn the game to the ground and restart with the name DK64 and just make a brand new game. Please, for the love of God, get rid of that monkey with the long arms. He freaks me out. It's just creepy. Oh, and he's a clown on top of that, which is even worse. I hate clowns. Anyway, let's move on. Limited Run also did a presentation this week. All these, the breakdown that we're about to share with you comes from Nintendo World Report. So all of these games are coming to Switch. The first one of these is a Lollipop Chainsaw Repopped, which is a Suda 51 game. So you probably know what to expect there. There's going to be inappropriate jokes, very shady semblance of a plot, and sexual innuendo out the wazoo. It's literally about a cheerleader who kills zombies with a chainsaw while performing dance moves. So there
Doesn't
you
she
go.
have a disembodied head as a companion?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So there it is. Also announced last year, a remastered version of Tomba, the PlayStation exclusive platformer, will be available August 1st for Nintendo Switch, and Tomba 2 was also shown off for the first time. Double Shake, which was a Mischief Makers inspired game, will be available soon. Rugrats Adventures in Gameland, which is a platformer designed to run on the original NES in one of its graphical modes, will also be available soon. Side-scrolling platform Rename will be published by Limited Run in fall 2024. Also launching in the fall is Clock Tower Rewind, which is a remastered version of Capcom's Japan-only horror title from the early 90s. Clear River Games is remastering classic mech side-scroller Assault Suit Linos 2, as well as a new Snow Brothers game, and Gimmick 2 in cooperation with Sunsoft, and a collection of remastered versions of the Fighting Force duology in cooperation with Square Enix will be released in 2025, as well as a port of the original Fear Effect. I love this one.
Oh boy.
Jay and Silent Bob Chronic Blunt Punch,
I am all
which
over
was
this one.
originally kickstarted for 2016, was shown with no date. And a new beat 'em up based on Troma's Toxic Crusaders was revealed with no date. Physical games.
No,
go ahead.
We thought Atoi's game was bad.
Hey, hang on. We're going to get to a Tui here in just a second. Physical games announced from Limited Run at the presentation: Star Wars Dark Forces remaster, Ninja 5 Beyond Good and Evil 20th Anniversary, Valis, The Phantasm Collection, Hitman Blood Money Reprisal, Penny's Big Breakaway, Rain World, Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus, without the 9 gigabyte download, the original single player required, and G.I. Joe, The Wrath of Cobra, and Cosmic Fantasy Collection 2. Zablonk asks a question about Wolfenstein 2 and says, the physical version of Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus, released 5 years ago by Bethesda, required downloading about 9 gigs of extra data to have a complete copy. Limited Run Games is now republishing the game to include the entire game on one cartridge. It's already annoying that digital games come out months before physical, trying to get you to double dip. Are new physical releases to really have the whole game on the chip a thing now? Is this where we are as an industry? I lied. I don't have a question. I'm just annoyed. It's where we are now, and it sucks. Yeah.
Yep.
So
I'm so excited for G.I. Joe, by the way. I'm definitely wanting that on physical, and we'll see.
Can I tell you what I hope it has in it?
is.
I hope it has that amazingly epic song from the beginning of G.I. Joe the movie.
It has something very close to it. Yes.
Oh,
it has something very close.
I
It
love
doesn't-
it.
It has something very close that's pretty, I think, is on par with it. It's not the same, but it is on par, I think.
Also showcased.
You can play a demo on Steam, by the way.
Ooh,
so you can check it out.
Check that out.
Yeah.
Also showcased There Is No God and the Cage Wasn't 30 Feet. The original Gex trilogy is being remastered in the LRG Carbon Engine for release this fall. And a collection of the
This is what you're waiting for, Marty.
The collection of the Bubsy series was also announced for fall. Y'all, there are some things that are in the past. And can I tell you something? There is no justice in a world where Bubsy gets remade before Plock.
Yeah. Yes.
We will end. I'm writing tomorrow to Limited Run Games and accusing them of Plock discrimination.
Yes.
And I will demand more Plock.
Exactly.
And it will do nothing. Anyway.
No, it will. You just started a war now.
We started a Plock movement.
Anyway.
It's going
to happen now.
That's all of our presentation news, but we have some breaking news that we want to share right now on the Nintendo Dads podcast. An email that was received by yours truly at 9:13 p.m. this evening states, tomorrow at 9 a.m. Central, Atui will host a developer playthrough with commentary of the first 6 levels of Hatch Tales. So we'll actually get to see the game in action. It will be on Atui's web YouTube channel, so you too can tune in and see. Says it will be an informal yet informative developer playthrough.
Is that something you'd actually really want to watch, or would you want to go into the game blind?
Man, I'm gonna tell you what. Some games I'm like, you know what? I don't want any news. I'm gonna go in blind. I think I'm gonna watch this just to see. I want to see it exist. I want it to exist. All right. So there we go. Here's some more little.
Maybe there's a reason why that is only showing 6 levels. What if only 6 levels are complete?
Jesse,
you're welcome.
Give me a headache. I need ibuprofen. Oh my gosh.
What are you talking about? He doesn't want to spoil anything. You know,
he doesn't want to spoil the other 5 levels they've got done.
There's stuff that you don't want to spoil. You know,
he did say there would be secrets. So there you go. All right.
Okay.
Here's a couple little other news tidbits that we wanted to throw out. A woman was busted in China, arrested for smuggling Nintendo Switch games into the country in her bra. That's right. Police noticed something was wrong and removed 350 Nintendo Switch cartridges from this woman's bra.
How does it even get past security?
I love the headline though. Over the shoulder cartridge holder.
I came up with that.
I love it. I love that. That was a good one.
Yeah, it y'all. Speaking of Someone
Woman
just said some.
busted.
Yeah, I didn't plan that one, but it just works, doesn't it? I someone in the chat just said Ninjas Descend, and it made me think of something. Did you guys see that there are people who are running a Kickstarter for an actual reproduction cartridge of the Nintendo World Championships?
Yeah.
Yes.
And so they're selling a ROM on a that they don't own on a cartridge that they don't own, and somehow they have managed to avoid Nintendo thus far.
No,
No,
I thought it was already. No, it was taken
shut
down really fast.
Yeah,
Oh, was
got
it?
shut
Was
down.
it?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And they actually used Mario art. I'm like, okay, that's a good way to shut it down if you didn't
Oh
do
my
anything else with
gosh.
it.
People.
They're like, here, let's test out some of this. Let's see how far we can get with this.
Anyway, we say people. both of these headlines, the Kickstarter and the bra games. Golly, people, come on. Also this week, the Super Mario Brothers movie sequel has gotten its release date. It will be released on November 24th of 2025 or 2026.
That's in Japan.
26 in Japan.
Yeah, we're still getting it like the first week of April.
Yeah. So it's April, guys.
As originally
April.
announced back in March.
April of 2026. Plots to be determined, but if you watch the first one, there's probably going to be a Yoshi. There you go.
Yep.
And Bowser will probably sing another song. I don't know. It's just a hunch, guys.
If he can get out of the birdcage.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Nintendo Switch Online app has gone through some changes. The home screen has changed to a different layout. Since this is web-based and it's just accessing, a hidden web page, this should not really surprise people.
Is this the mobile app or the Switch Online button on the Switch?
Switch Online button when you go in.
I never use that button, so I should look.
It used to have the little scrolling things, there on the front, but now you can go to a different screen and see larger scrolling images. So it just, they're toying around with some.
Welcome to the newly designed home screen.
Yep. There you go. And then our last little bit of information, if you've pre-ordered Luigi's Mansion 2 from Walmart, chances are you already know this, but Walmart is canceling Nintendo pre-orders again. Previously, last month, they were canceling pre-orders for Paper Mario: The Thousand-Year Door. Now they are canceling pre-orders for Luigi's Mansion 2 and offering $25 in in-store credit as a consolation prize. Why? Why are Nintendo physical copies getting hard to find? Why are stores not selling them?
So the people at GameStop are saying that it's because Walmart and other companies that they're stopping from doing these pre-orders are being punished for not adhering to the street date.
Oh,
see, that does make sense.
So yeah, because there had been several releases that people got early from Amazon, especially that I saw, like up to a week early in some cases.
Yeah, so Nintendo is apparently, from what they were saying, Nintendo supposedly is cracking down on it. So the letter that they sent out to the customers is kind of untrue in a way, because they're saying Nintendo. Well, it's true because Nintendo is stopping them or canceling it, but they're not saying why. They're not saying, well, they're not owning up to it because of them not holding to the street date. Gotcha. They're putting all the blame on Nintendo, saying Nintendo is telling us we can't sell it to you, your pre-orders.
Not that they're not saying, we screwed up and sent out a bunch of copies.
Right. Well, they are telling them that, but they're not saying the other half of it.
And that explains why it's limited to only Walmart and Amazon. And others are fine.
That's a good point. Good sleuth in there, Tim.
Then Reed Dillard says Ninjas Descend for the second time.
Did you hop in your mystery machine and go figure that out with your dog and other companions?
Yes. No, it was actually just me.
Who would you be in Scooby-Doo?
Probably Shaggy.
I kind of
because
like
I'm
that was
hungry.
mine.
Give me a good sandwich.
As long as
Some
no
Scooby
one
snacks.
is like voluntarily saying that they would be Scrappy Doo, we're good. We're good.
Who's Justin, one of the masked villains?
I would have got away with it if it wasn't for that darn business. Oh wow, we're getting to the delirium stage, guys. That's our news this week. Let's pause really quick for an ad break from our good friends over at Manscaped. Well, folks, summer's coming, and that means it's a good time to think about personal hygiene, especially as it heats up outside and we get all hot and sweaty and stinky. And it's a good thing that Manscaped has some things that can help out with that. And so we want to encourage you to head over their website, manscaped.com, and check out their line of deodorants, shampoos, conditioners, the freshening spray that they have, and especially for the boys, the ball deodorant, the crop preserver is a literal lifesaver or ball saver during these hot and sticky summer months when our good friend chafing comes to town and makes everything terrible. Literally one of the best products that I've ever used in my life to take care of personal hygiene. And so you can get some of that stuff for yourself over at manscaped.com. Just use the code NINDADS. That's NINDADS. That's our personal code that saves you 20% off your order and free shipping anytime you use the code. That code again is NINDADS, NINDADS. And head over to manscaped.com. And as Tom Haverford says, treat yourself. Treat yourself to something nice with the code NINDADS at manscaped.com. Gentlemen, our question of the week this week has gotten a ton of response. I'm excited about this. And there are some listeners that unfortunately are too young to understand the play on words that I was using here. But that's okay because they answered the question. Here's our question of the week this week. It's the end of the Switch as we know it. Do you feel fine? What is your favorite memory from the past 7 years of this amazing console? And honestly, what you guys, what I'm referring to here is that this very possibly is the final solely focused on this Nintendo Switch Direct. It's a very good possibility it could be. So, with that in mind, let's look back over the last 7 years and let's share our favorite memory from having the Switch. Shy Guy wrote in and said, I'm cheating and giving 4, and I'm not cheating. I'm only picking 1. No, I'm just kidding. I'll read them all. Here it is. He says, playing Mario Odyssey and reigniting my then nearly dead gaming hobby, making genuine friends via Rocket League and Splatoon, discovering Celeste, and docking/undocking the Switch with no interruption to your game is still magical to me. Hoots says the Switch is the first console that's released games I've taken off of work, school to play on release. Super Smash Brothers, I took the day off and unlocked as many characters as I could before having all my normie friends over to party and play that evening. I just wish I could have convinced them to keep playing after that day. Oh man, yes, that's kind of sad. Tears of the Kingdom. My wife doesn't even know I took this day off, so I hope she's not listening to this podcast right now. So keep it on the DL. It released the day before Mother's Day weekend, so I took the following Monday off to play. It was excellent motivation to work hard, making sure my wife didn't have to lift a finger for me or our 2 small children that weekend. Good times. Zablanc says, grabbing Zelda's hand. Mecha Dragon 101 says, has to be picking up my first Switch. I decided to go for it after getting my first big check from a tax refund and waiting in line at Nintendo New York till midnight to pick it up. Didn't even have a decent sized jacket at the time, so I was pretty cold. Also, didn't pick up my games there and got them at Best Buy back then, or back when new games still had discounts. And he also said that feeling that the Switch is going to go through its entire lifespan without a Netflix app. Victorious GX says just the fact that the Switch exists, the first console that I could play at home, then take with me and play anywhere, is a concept I feel like I've been waiting for ever since the NES. Ryan Muncie says, when I bought my first Switch, the OLED version, it was wonderful getting back into console gaming and having such a large library of games to play. Shortly after that, I found the Nintendo Dads and Dads After Dark show. It's such a great community. Thank you so much. We appreciate that, seriously. Ebucel says, my favorite my favorite memory was thinking we would get a Houch Tales port. Well, at 9 a.m. in the morning, you can check it out.
It's not even a port.
It's not even a port. It's just a brand new game. David Bylicka says, my favorite memory of the past 7 years has to be the versatility of the software and its portable nature. So many memories of indies, first parties, retro games on the NSO, and having them playable anywhere. I think Nintendo has a real opportunity to keep updating the Switch every console generation and just having it continue to expand its game library and its capabilities, making it the best every generation. Spider Shan says, my favorite memory was everyone discovering what could be done in Breath of the Wild. It was so much fun watching videos of people doing crazy things as well as making many discoveries on my own. So, one answer to our question over on Twitter as well, or X. Sorry. Here it is. New Dad Gaming Podcast says the form factor has been perfect for family gaming and multiplayer. Kids loved Mario Party, Mario Kart, Ultimate Chicken Horse, Boomerang Fu, Quake. Multiplayer was king and so easy to do without packing a bunch of bulky controllers. So, we'll throw it back to you.
We also got one on the chat here. Mario Wonder was his Beer's favorite moment. Completely underestimated it, and it reinvigorated my love for the Mario platform.
Yes. All right. So let's go around the horn here. Your favorite memory from Nintendo Switch over the last 7 years?
I think
Eston,
mine
you go. You're our guest. Eston,
okay.
go
ahead.
My favorite one is the fact that I've got a 10-year-old son about to be 11 in like 2 weeks. And it was the first time we ever gave him like a gaming console, and it was the Switch we decided to go with. And just seeing, sharing the world of gaming with my son, and just seeing, just having that experience as a dad, sharing that with him, sharing world of like Mario with him, and just kind of like feeling the circle coming around of how, like, whenever I was back in the 80s, I mean, I'm 47, how back when I was in the 80s and my dad first got us a Nintendo entertainment system, and let us open it up on like Christmas Day, and sat down with us while we played through the Mario games and played Duck Hunt and stuff like that. And, and took time and took interest to be a part of that. And it was kind of a bonding experience. And so, I'm doing that with my son. Really kind of just brought things home for me. And I wouldn't be remiss if I didn't say, yeah, it kind of I was fighting back some tears, kind of in a way, as cheesy as it may sound, that I kind of felt like, yeah, here I am, like, in my own moment being my dad.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. What were you going to say, Jesse?
Yeah, I think mine is just, again, it's real appreciating the form factor and how flexible it is. When the system came out, I was mostly handheld because my son would still play Wii U games on my big TV or PS4 games. And then I think it was Dragon Quest XI where I couldn't read the words, so I started playing that on on the big TV, and pretty much ever since then I'm like 99% docked, and because it's a docked system, I can still move it around to any of the TVs in the house that I want. My computer here for streaming, the big TV behind me, so upstairs in the living room for Jackbox games with when we have guests. So it's just, we don't have to move around hardware. And kind of the the side answer is realizing that I could create a Japanese account and buy games from the Japanese region, partially at a discount based on how the yen is against the US dollar, and that I can play the game 18 hours early.
I love it. What about you, Tim?
My favorite, I have all kinds of memories, but the one that comes to mind the most is the first year, Christmas 2017 of the Switch. We were able to pull it out of our hats, my wife and I, to be able to get Sam and Sophie Nintendo Switches for Christmas. And I have it captured on video on YouTube on my channel, where Sam basically reacted like the N64 kid, just lost his ever living mind on
Mm,
getting it because I wrapped up just one Joy-Con for each of them in a box. So it wasn't a big box, it was a small box with one Joy-Con. And when they opened it up, he saw the Joy-Con and lost his mind. And because he lost his mind, his sister didn't have to, but she was all, like, we really got Switches, so they both lost their minds, but he visibly was screaming and yelling and just like you could hardly tell what he was saying. And then when I handed him the rest of it, he was just all, the best Christmas ever, just to see, that your kids just be happy with something they thought
mm.
they were not going to get. So in that 2017, Christmas 2017 for sure.
So there's this memory that pops up every year, um, for me on Facebook, because I, have put things in there and everything. That it's in April, and it was when Labo first came out,
Mm-hmm.
and we got the Labo kit, the variety kit, the with the toy piano and all that stuff, and we built the remote control cars, and we built the house that day. And we sat at the table and we walked through that, me and my son and my daughter. We sat and we worked and worked and worked on that. And then they took the Switch and played with that for hours after that. It was just this really awesome day. And there's this picture that pops up on that day every year of a note that my son wrote me, that said that he left on the table next to it when he went to bed. I didn't find it, I think, until a few hours later. And it just says, "Thanks for building and playing Labo with me. I love you." And to me, that was like, okay, that could that have happened with another system? Sure, absolutely. But um, I think that one of the things that has been so great about this system has been the portability of being able to go anywhere and to play at any time. Like with the weekend that Arms came out, we went to a restaurant, and I was like, "Oh, well, I'm going to be that cool guy who sets it up on the table and we play." So my son and I were fighting in Arms, like, and they came and they're like, "Your food, here's your food." It's like, "Oh, hang on just a second, I'll put it all back together and put it in the case." Um, Road trips, where we're playing Smash against each other, or he loves playing Mario Party. That's one of his favorite games, and so we'll jump in and play Family Mario Party. Um, but yeah, like because of buying different Switches and things, everybody in our family except my wife, like my son, my daughter, we all have Switches. Uh, so um my daughter, she just likes to play the clubhouse games, so she plays that. My son still plays, he's working on Paper Mario right now along with me, we're both playing it. So it's been great to That and nothing too will match that first day, like the very first day with the Switch, where we all gathered around to see what it could do, and put it through its paces and play 1-2 Switch, and everybody got in on it, and it was just a really cool time, and it's a good family memory.
The Switch is also the reason why it became a Nintendo dad. So
Yeah,
it's another memory for me, for sure.
that's awesome. I'll never forget the reveal. I'll never forget the press conference they did that January, and the announcement that Breath of the Wild's launching day and date with the system.
Mhm.
And I was on a business trip, and that event happened on my flight home.
Oh
So
man,
so I wasn't able to participate with Justin and Zach on a live react.
dang.
That's a lot first for me too. That was like first without the Switch. Yeah, that's the first time I started listening to podcasts. Before that, I could care less about listening to a podcast, and so I started like
Yeah.
searching for like Nintendo podcasts, and then just being places with the Switch has like just sparked random conversations. Like one day I was in Starbucks with like my Switch playing Pokemon Scarlet, and I went to go get my drink, and I had the Switch in my hand. And the lady behind the counter, she's just like, "Oh, you play Switch? I said, what game are you playing?" And I told her Scarlet. She goes, "Oh, what have you caught so far?" And I told her about what I caught, and we were talking about the different Pokemon. And she goes, "That's awesome." She said, "Oh man," she said, "I really have enjoyed this conversation." And she's like, "Here, totally have this drink on the house." She said, "Definitely, you're a Nintendo player." She said, "You're cool by me, man." And it's just been just random, and that's not the first time. Just not like free drinks, but just random conversations. I'll be places just playing my
Yeah.
Switch, and someone would come by. Like last week, someone came by and they were just like, "Hey, nice Zelda," and they would just start have random conversations with me. It's just a very harmonious community.
Yep. Yeah, it's been a great ride. Mecha Dragon asks us, do you think they'll do all that over again? I do. I do think that there will be pomp and circumstance and fanfare to welcome the new system. I think that they'll do a press conference and show all the neat things it can do that Switch can't. And yeah.
Miz also said COVID Animal Crossing was another memory.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was a like a collective gaming moment, right? That I don't think
A
we'll ever
collective
have
memory.
again. That so many people playing Animal Crossing at the same time.
810
Well,
hours Animal Crossing right here.
And Doom Eternal came out on the same day, so we had that
Yes.
pairing.
Yep.
Yep.
Isabel shooting the shotgun and Doom guy fishing. Well, guys, thanks for chiming in to this discussion. Great comments from our community. Let's wrap this up and let's talk about what we've been playing. Eston, you are our guest, so that means you get to go first. What have you been playing?
Sure. Switch wise, I've been playing. I started Monster Hunter Stories, the first one. And that's a remake that they brought over. I never call it a remake, remasters. Been playing that. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I wish that they would have brought it over sooner, so I'm not playing things retroactively after like beating the second one. But it is nice after beating the second one to go back now. I'm a Monster Hunter fan, so to go back now and see kind of how things came to be in the second one, now looking at the first one. And this one now has Cheval in it, and so get to see more of him as a character. So he was not in the second one. And so that's nice. And a fun thing to do too is like they had the I didn't put this in my first look, but with the amiibo, if you have the first series amiibo, if you scan them in this game on the Switch, it's still automatically you get the eggs, and you get those exact characters, monster like dragons to actually ride in the game. Once you get your character high enough level, you get like their Barroth, and you get like their Rathalos and stuff. So that's nice. Nice little feature. So it has Amiibo support there. I've been playing Sea of Stars. I feel like pretty deep into it when I did look at the walkthrough just to see how many chapters down I am into it. I doubt I will actually get to it hasn't camera to you. I can't see what you're holding. Is that the steel book?
There's
What
the new
is that?
art book.
Oh,
The
the art
new
book.
art book, I just got it today.
Very
Yeah,
nice. Yeah, yeah.
I got a digital version of it the
Yeah.
other day
Who
for
do you
being a
play more
backer.
as? Do you play more as the sun or the moon?
The moon.
Yeah, I like to play more as the
I
moon.
forget her name,
Yeah,
but
I
yeah.
Yeah, I
sometimes I
played.
forget her name.
I
I like to play more as the
Same
moon.
here. Someone
Yeah.
asked me when I was doing my Metroid stream if I ever got the final ending,
Oh yeah,
and
that's right. Yeah.
I said I did not.
No, that's one thing I've read. I don't know if I'm gonna go for the true ending, as they call it, because it seems like there's work involved. I might just get the ending, and then like the true ending, I might just go on YouTube and watch the true ending and be like, okay, I watched it. Call me like, like half-hearted fan, but I mean, I'm enjoying it.
There's more hopefully that if you do watch the true ending, I don't blame you. Because there is a lot of work to it. But if you've already done some of that work, it
See,
might be worth it. It just
I'm right
depends.
near the end. I think
Yeah.
I got to the point where I needed to catch a fish, but there's a trick to it, and someone told me what the trick is, and I just haven't gotten back to finishing it.
Yeah, so
I mean, I
there's
like the pace of it. I mean, it plays really fast. I mean, it's not like a grind. I mean, that's why I like Paper Mario. I see everybody playing it right now, Thousand Year Door. That's why I fell off playing Paper Mario Thousand Year Door. I mean, I appreciated, they brought that over and it looks beautiful and I like the writing in it and the charm in it, but the writing of it is so much of it that it just like it was so slowly paced that I would just like, I just don't want to go through so many chat bubbles. Let me just speed chat it. Let me just click A to read the whole paragraph at once. And I'm just like, please, I feel like I'm taking so much time out of my day just reading your paragraphs and one sentence, one word at a time. And so I like this game because it goes faster with the chat so I can get back to the action. So I feel like it's much more well balanced. And there's probably people in the Discord that will kind of be spit vinegar on me right now for that. But nonetheless, everybody's got their own taste. And so I mean, I know I played a little bit of Star Wars Hunters. It's good. I don't know. I mean, when it comes to like a shooter, looter kind of thing, I mean, I feel like I can only really focus on one. And right now, I mean, I've kind of been in Fortnite for so long, so Fortnite will be my thing. And I mean, if I try other shooters, I'm like, yeah, it's good. And then I get back in the pool, so I go back to Fortnite, and that's how I'll always kind of be. And so that for me right now is like kind of really what I'm really focusing on a lot on brainstorming on the Switch. As far as main stuff I'm playing. I did pick up the Steelbook version of the Shin Megami Tensei, the Revenge Edition, but I haven't started it. But I wanted to pick it up while the Steelbook was available because of all places I was in Walmart and there was only 3 left. So I'm like, well, this is the Steelbook, and I'm like, let me grab the Steelbook while it's still the getting's good. So I got that. So I will get it because I did read the Revenge version. It's a lot quicker and easier to play through. So I have it to get to. And as far as other games I've been playing, like kind of like off the reservation, I've been playing on the PlayStation. I finished up Alan Wake 2. And I will say that lukewarm on it. I think it's a good game. I don't think it's an excellent game. The Alan Wake parts of it, I kind of was really just trying to rush as fast as I could to get back to like what's her name? I think her name was Saga. I think if I remember right, the FBI agent. I want to get back to her story because I found it more intriguing. And I like the actual pace of her stuff more. I know they had to include Alan Wake in it, but I felt they got a little bit too much in the weeds with his stuff, almost like they were too much rehashing the first game. And there's some chapters I feel like in the Alan Wake part of it that you could have eliminated to actually speed up the game. But I played it, and finished it. So as a whole, I mean, I'm glad I did, so I can actually experience part 2. And then now, I mean, as of right now, it is waiting for me. I'm about to go subject myself. I don't know how much pain it's going to be, but to Shadow of the Erdtree. And so after doing the platinum on the Elden Ring, I plan to bring that character over I'm hoping Shadow of Erdtree is not going to be too hard because my character in Elden Ring is level 420, and so I'm hoping I get to bring all that 420 over.
Wow.
And so and along with my mimic tier, and so I get to bring all that guy over, and so hopefully I get to that gives me a leg up at least somewhat. I mean, even at that level, there's still stuff out there, and there's still stuff out there in the regular game, base game, that can kind of really, yeah, knock me out of my socks if I'm not careful. And as far as the God, actually on the PlayStation, I would jump around. Right now on the PlayStation, I'm left. I think it's called the have to give me 1 second. Let me pull up my app. After Us, a game I've been playing. It's kind of a post-pandemic game where you're going through as a character and you gotta like use your light to like clear pollution in the world, if you will, and to rescue like spirit creatures. If you like Kena, Bridge of Spirits, then you like this game because as you're going through and you're kind of telling, but on the same token, it's not like Kena in the sense that you're actually telling a story, and you're finding out like kind of finding out the story as far as like how the world got to be where it's at. Because you see people around, but they're almost like I don't know, like a nuclear bomb went off in a way. They're fossilized in place, but that's called After Us. And it always constantly has this ethereal music playing in the background. Like Kena, it can be kind of a lonely game. It's kind of so there's not a lot of like tons of combat every corner you turn around, but it's more of a platformer puzzler, if you will, in a 3D aspect. And again, that's After Us. And then I finally decided to start playing Gran Turismo 7. So the first racing game we ever done outside of Mario Kart. And after watching the movie 4 or 5 times now, I've started playing that. And I really enjoying playing that. I'm taking a bit to get used to the driving mechanics of that game. So I'm trying to get some of my licenses in it. But I mean, it's definitely it's got a lot of fun aspects to it. And I like the collect-a-thon that you do. I mean, there's a Lamborghini in there I wish I could have right now. But as I got my license and I started driving some of the fast cars, I realized that maybe I don't need the Lamborghini right now because I would be all over the place with that car and I need the skill set first. And but I love how the game starts you out automatically already driving and you just take over. And in some vein, I can definitely see I'm like, wow, you're actually like this is just like almost like in the movie in a way. I mean, it's just I can see the movie being channeled into this game, and which makes sense of how because the game was based somewhat of how the movie was based upon a real life character, a real life person. I should say character, real life person playing that game, and it's fun in the game because you can actually go and see actually these real people. They're actually kind of like top dogs in the world right now, and where the next championship is going to be and stuff. And so it is it's definitely it's a different entity from Mario Kart. I still enjoy Mario Kart, definitely, but this game is definitely it's a different skill set you're using here.
Oh, yeah. I would. I mean, Gran Turismo and Mario Kart are as far to the end of the spectrum as you can get, probably. But that's okay.
I love Gran Turismo 7 or the Gran Turismos period just because that's how I can get cars I can't get in real life.
I see y'all's names on like the time trials and the licensing trials and stuff like
Yeah.
that. I see y'all's names on there and stuff, and I'm not like sitting there, going mauled trying to to beat y'all's names or anything like that. But it's just fun just to see y'all's names. Say, oh, I see, such and such got there, and you got that, and you got that amount of time, and it's just fun. And like, I
It
was
is
like, I
fun.
wish it would let me go in and see how y'all did it, so I can be like, oh, that's cool, so I can see y'all's ghost like Mario Kart does.
Awesome. Jesse, what have you been playing?
Right. So I finished up PICROSS S NAMCO Legendary Edition. The total time was just over 31 hours. When I finished the Mega Picross puzzles and the Clip Picross, I thought I was done. And I'm like, oh, there's still 5 extra puzzles, and these are 30 by 30 or 40 by 30. So those took like half hour, 40 minutes each. So that definitely added to the time at the end. So we ended up that game's knocked out, and then working my way back on PICROSS S Plus, still working on E8. But then the other game, as I mentioned, I played a Metroid Zero Mission. Well, I got about 3.5 hours, about 56% item complete. I didn't want to go back through and recollect everything when I had the chance. I just wanted to get the game over with. But then I ended up having one thing I completely forgot about, and Blanco kind of picked on me a little bit because it isn't the first time this has happened. I forgot that you can rewind. So so when when I woke up my system from sleep mode, I rewound back and did that last fight just before the end. There's two armored pirates that are really hard to take down.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, two simultaneously that
I
you have to
remember
attack.
those.
And I think I died 3 or 4 times. And of course, not doing rewind, going back to the last save point, you have to fight Mecha Ridley again, which that's a relatively easy fight with the super missiles that I had. But still, it's just time sink. Where if I remembered that I had the rewind, I wouldn't have had to go. Wouldn't have had to go through all that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I might pick it up from the save point and go back and try to get other items. Not sure if I will. Never done it before, so like no real incentive to do it.
Yep.
If anything, I'd want to try to play it again and to get a better time, but not sure if I really want to do that either.
Gotcha. Tim, what about you? What have you been playing?
A little bit more of the Star Wars Hunters. I've probably talked about that a lot. Not as much as Drew, from what I hear, on Dad's After Dark show, but I've been playing that whenever I can, whenever I feel like playing, that type of game. We actually got together to play that for Friday night NSO. Me and Shannon and Chris. And then we had some people pop in. My daughter played with us a bit. And then um, Reed came in, who was actually, I think, just in our chat here. He actually came in and played with us, and he actually helped carry us through a lot of it too. So, but it was a lot of fun to play Star Wars Hunters again, opening up a lot of stuff and getting to experience the um, playing together with friends, it was really easy. Came together. We were able to swap in and out people since we had more than 4 people. So it was really good. Again, the game is a really solid game, I think, for a battle royale, not a battle royale, but a Overwatch type game. So Ylands is another game that I played. Shannon actually has a first look of it out on her channel. And I'm also playing it. It's called Ylands, or actually, I think I saw something that said it's actually still pronounced Islands, but the Y is it threw me off. So, but yeah, if you go look it up, it's Ylands, but it's actually pronounced Islands. It's basically an open world survival game where you have crafting. Uh, and you basically you can create your own character to go through this adventure mode to basically you have to rebuild a boat to get off this island. You can search the islands for materials and things to eat. You have objectives to do in order to survive. Um, and it's so far it's got some glitches that I hope they can fix, but I think it's a solid game for those who like survival games like that. I think it's pretty solid so far. I haven't played as much as say Shannon did in the first look, but it seems pretty solid. It seems like it has some positive things going for it. There's even a free open, like, you don't have to play the adventure mode. You can play the free roaming one. I forget what they call it exactly, but you just run around and you get a set amount of tools, and you're not necessarily surviving, but you're going around and exploring, which was really cool too. It uses like a low polygon type graphics too, so that's another thing to keep in mind. If you're not into that type of thing, then maybe you don't want to check that out. But I think it's a good one for if you have any kids who are interested in Minecraft type of thing. They don't necessarily have to build like Minecraft, but you can build certain things by crafting from, say, grass and cutting down trees and all those kind of things, and then combining those things to create what you need to survive. So it's a potential stepping stone from Minecraft if you want your kids to check it out. And it seems to work pretty well on the Switch on the go as well. So looking forward to checking more of that out. And then another game that we got a code for that was released today is the Garten of Banban. Garten of Banban. There's actually 4 parts we got on the Switch released today on June 20th, but it's a mobile game, I think, if I remember correctly. And it's a scary game. It's one of those scary games where it's crazy and you solve puzzles, and then if you don't do things in a timely manner, you got things jumping at you and taking you out. So kind of like a Five Nights at Freddy feel in a way in some cases. So I've played through Garten of Banban 1 and 1. I got through that one in the video that I did. I did a stream of that, and then I did a stream of 2, part of 2. Vic says it's spoopy, so I guess
Was
there's a
it
term
was it
for it.
scary?
Oh, it made my hairs go up on the back of my neck a few times for sure.
Okay.
Yes.
The reason I ask is because Sunday night at 10:47, my son sends me a random text, and this is what it says. Why is Tim playing the absolute garbage dump that is Garten of Banban? And I said, he wanted to play scary games. And he said, that game ain't scary, trust me. To which I replied, I don't even know what it is. And he said, it's practically shovelware made by 2 dudes.
Yes, it was made by 2 dudes, and actually I had fun with it. So, and if he thinks it's garbage, good on him.
There's enough hidden lore in it for Matt Pat to do multiple videos on his channel.
Yeah.
Oh,
There's
okay,
more
well,
parts to it than are on the Switch. So like
I
said,
I don't like spoopy games, so I won't be playing it. But if you like, listen, if you like the spoop, you spoop away. All right, maximum spoop.
I like the puzzle elements to it too, but the part that got me was when, you don't solve something and the creature's chasing you and you're trying to get through, and all of a sudden you turn around and it's already on top of you screaming like, "Wah!"
Do you know what I think would be the most real yet also most terrifying and frustrating puzzle game in the world? It would be a puzzle game where you have to undo something or fix something, but at random points of it, you're interrupted by one of your children who urgently needs to talk to you and or let me show you something. If they could get that, that would be the most realistic game on the face of the planet.
Yeah, I just looked on Steam, and Garten of Banban 7 was released last month, and there will be an 8th that is scheduled for sometime this year.
Is it like a garden, like kindergarten, or is it a garden?
Yes, like kindergarten. That's the theme of it, is basically the story that I got of it was that the Garten of Banban is a place where parents wanted to take their kids to because it was the best place for kindergartners. But then something happened where all of the people and the kids disappeared, and you have to figure it out.
And you've got stuff.
That's why you're going through all these parts.
You got stuff running around screaming at you.
You're going through these parts to find out what happened. Yes,
gotcha.
You're finding out these characters that were part of the theme behind this kindergarten that these kids went to, who try to teach you things. These characters are in rooms that you run into, and they end up being scary.
It's Five Nights at Freddy's.
That's why I was saying it's similar to the Five Nights
at Freddy's. Yeah,
I thought I mentioned it. I thought I mentioned Five Nights at Freddy's, but I apologize if I didn't. It is like Five Nights at Freddy's.
I was wondering, like, how close is this to Five Nights at Freddy's? I've never played it, but just just by looking at
I
it, being
don't
around it, feeling it might be Five Nights at Freddy's.
like if this is your jam and you're listening, like great. Like I'm not gonna, but like I kind of just I kind of get uneasy with the amount of like dead kids games that there are, like, you know, and like the ravenous appetite for it looks like a cartoon but it's really scary, like Inky or whatever, the bendy
Oh, the bendy
game.
one, yeah.
And I'm like, just can kids just have cartoons? Can they just have like can they just go to
Right.
kindergarten? Can they just eat pizza at Chuck E. Cheese, Child Casino and Rat Pizza? And you know, can we just not do those things? And like everything now has to be scary. Like, you know, it's like, oh, it's Winnie the Pooh, but it's scary. It's Mickey Mouse, but he's a serial killer. Or it's Mario and he's chasing you, and then he gets more and more grotesque the farther you get. And I, yeah.
You miss
Another
Looney
game
Tunes.
I have
Those
on
with the days, you
tap.
miss Looney Tunes.
Oh no.
Another game I have on tap is the Tavern Talk game, which I'm going to be doing first look at soon. So
Okay.
that game is basically a game about you being a barkeep in a D&D world, and you get to listen to these stories and you get to create drinks for these
Nice.
people and help solve problems. So I'm looking
Cool.
forward to trying that game out.
Good
Well,
deal.
if you don't first looks, I've got a scary game coming up for y'all. Then it looks like that one that I volunteered for today with that, I forget the name of it, Echo something or another, and it's like Stranger Things type thing.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
I've been playing Metroid Zero Mission 2. I just started it this afternoon. I did not start it when it came out because um I was working on Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door, which I finished yesterday. Very satisfying. Really enjoyed that, and I had not played that game since the GameCube. And I want to say that I finished it there, but I can't remember it. So I don't know that I finished it on that system. But I did finish it here, and I can honestly see why it is the most beloved Paper Mario game. It's really, really,
Yeah,
really good.
it's always been my favorite one.
You were totally hating what I was saying about it earlier then.
No, no. I mean, if it's not for you, that's fine. I mean, I
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah.
It's just Paper Mario RPGs are different games. Like
Yeah.
they're just different. And I think that there's probably a group of people who either love them or hate them. And I don't think there's a whole lot of in between. So, but it was good. I'm glad that I was able to play through it again. It was a ton of fun. But on tap, I've got Moonstone Island, which if you haven't seen this, it's like a mix between Pokemon and Stardew Valley. And it got me with I don't know. I watched Justin's playthrough on our channel, and yeah, I liked what I saw. So I'm excited to hatch monsters and build cities, and apparently it's very relationship focused. So yeah, flirt with computer animated girls. I don't know. That
Have you
sounded
played a lot
weird.
of Fire Emblem games?
Kind of weird. Yeah, I don't like Fire Emblem.
Oh, I was gonna say then
I
you'd
don't
be
like. Here's the thing. Like, I kind of like. I feel like I might like Fire Emblem, and then I buy it, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I remember why I don't like this. So it's kind of like the way I feel about Pikmin and Splatoon as well. Like every time a new one comes out, I'm like, oh man, it's going to be different this time, and it's Lucy and Charlie Brown pulling the football away every time. It's the same result. It's like, oh
Except
yeah,
for I like Pikmin.
yeah. I
Pikmin's
don't know.
probably is up there in my favorite franchises.
Well, that's what we've been playing. Tim, take it away on the community spotlights.
All right. First, shout out to everybody who stopped by today in our chat and watched us live. Thank you very much for doing that. Lots of you came in through here, so I'm sure you were looking forward to hearing what Jesse had to say and what Eston had to say about the direct. And again, if you didn't hear what what Marty, myself, and Justin said, we have part 1 that you can go back and listen to or watch as well. But before we end out the show and go over any last minute events going on, we're also going to push the questions we got that weren't pertaining to the direct to next week's show. So, because we're already running up to 2 hours here. But before we do that, I want to say, Eston, where can people get a hold of you? And tell us a little bit about yourself as well, and so that people can find you and talk to you about the games you're into.
Sure. Yeah, I'm located on like as far as social media. I'm on a lot of the Discords just by solo something. I've dropped the something over time because so many people just kept calling me solo. So I said, why am I keeping the something? It's just derogatory. Or not derogatory, excuse me. It's just erroneous. I don't really need it. And so I dropped. But as far as like social media, on X, I just still call it Twitter, but on there, I am on there as solo something. That's about the only place I am on social media. I don't do too much of the other stuff. As far as, gaming stuff, I do a lot of PlayStation, and I do like Nintendo Switch and Nintendo games. I don't do too much of the retro stuff, although I grew up through the retro era. So it's kind of funny reading Discord posts and stuff and seeing people talk about retro stuff that actually I grew up with. I try not to let it age me too much. But I don't go back to the well too much, and that's, I guess, why I don't
That
play too much
that
retro
reminds
stuff.
me of something my son just said the other day,
What
that
was that?
the the Wii will be 20 years old in a few years.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's my first gaming console was the Atari 2700, the wood grain box, yeah. And then we got the NES entertainment system after that. So yeah, but they nonetheless, so that's just I guess in a tidbit about me. I don't spend too much time going too much details about like me because I don't know. It's hard to say to people that you can't even like, you don't see them face to face talking
Right.
about yourself. You can't gauge when people start getting bored and start mind drifting. So I gotta sit here and like, yeah, entertain like I have a big ego and sit here and spend monologue for 20 minutes. So there you go. That's a little bit about me. Want more about me? Just please reach out, talk to me. I'm always willing to talk. I will say this on social media, and that includes in Discord, sometimes in my own frustration because it's not reciprocated. I try and talk to you as if you're sitting across from me at a coffee shop table. So I try and talk to you as if I'm in there in person to you. So I will if you actually respond right to me, I will respond back to you. If it takes a day, maybe sometimes because of work and stuff, but you will get a response back to me. You won't get dead air.
Nice. And something too that I don't think a lot of people know, unless they know you personally, obviously, is that you are a huge Alien franchise fan.
Oh yeah. Alien franchise fan, Matrix franchise fan. So yeah, I've done a lot of like, yeah, I've worked in the movie industry in some level. So actually I have gotten like a lot of autographs here and there from like people from that have worked on Star Wars films and the Matrix films and stuff. And so I've actually yeah, I've done a lot of movie stuff as far as in that regards. And so I've actually got tattoos on me of some of these creatures that I've actually drawn. And so, yeah, I'm doing a shout out for that. So, yeah, you and I have had conversations about that. So,
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
I'm a huge movie buff. So I
You
can
look
talk for a long time about movies.
you looking forward to the new Alien movie coming out?
Yeah, I'm hoping. I mean, yeah, they're hit or miss. Yeah,
Yeah.
the classic is always a trilogy, 1, 2, and 3. I mean, I
Yeah.
enjoy them to this day. That's still my comfort food. And
Seems like
so
they're going back to the roots on the new one coming out. So,
yeah, and the Predator, like the Predators, they've done well with that. That Prey was really good.
mhm.
And the one that Shane Black did was really great, which I expect because he was in the original Predator. So I'm glad that he came back and he actually did one that is actually props to him for actually doing. Um,
Nice.
yeah, so yeah, so that's definitely. I hope they do it right.
Well, thanks for coming on, Eston. That was it's always nice to having you on, and thanks for always supporting us here at the Nintendo Dads as well.
Now, y'all are welcome. I mean, y'all are great guys. I mean, you're bringing on Jack a lot of like entertainment, a lot of comedy. And I'm sure you'll help a lot of people with a lot of rough days out there when they just want to just kind of forget their worries and forget their stress, and just tune in and tune out in a way. So I'm sure y'all do that for a lot of people. And y'all have busy lives, and y'all outside of this, so the fact that y'all are willing to sacrifice and do this. I have been on a podcast before, so I do know behind the scenes the amount of volume of work that goes into doing this and scheduling and having to make yourself presentable week after week to be able to do this. So I know the amount of commitment and sacrifice sometimes that it takes to do that. And so kudos to y'all for being willing to just, to make sure that y'all do that with unabashed delight, and to not, if y'all are having a bad day, to not have it show on camera.
Well, thanks, Justin. We try really hard to make sure Justin's appropriate for on camera. So every time
he's only taken his shirt off once.
Well, they don't get to see him in, pre-show. We always have to say, no, Justin, you can't wear that on camera. You got to go, clean yourself up, look presentable. No.
I have hoped on one show, at least one time, that Justin would just basically go totally full on like boss and put on the hard ass hat from The Office and just like, yeah, just really go into y'all one time.
Right.
But yeah, it's never happened.
All right. Well, thanks again, Solo. Thank you very much for that. And all right.
He would have to take that up with HR anyway. So just,
All right, real quick, I'll go over the events that are going on, and then Marty will end the show here. So Monthly Mayhem is on its way out, so getting close to the end here. Paper Mario, the 1,000-Year Door, 3 ways to play. You can be creative, you can be skillful, you can be hardcore, and of course the 4th way is just get an entry in for a lottery win. So if you want to know more details, just you can hit us up and we'll give you more details, or look it up in the Discord.
I think each category only has 1 or 2 entries because I don't count, Drew don't count, so your chances are pretty good. Submit a score.
Right. Yep. It's looking good. Next up, we had Friday Night NSO last Friday, so the next Friday will be the every second Friday of the month at 10 p.m. Eastern, where some of us get together to do a multiplayer games on NSO or some of the free NSO games that we get through NSO. So we'll probably be playing some of those new ones that we just got in the next one. Come play along with us in Discord or on stream. If you see us around, you can come join us like Reed did with Star Wars. But also keep an eye on any Friday for a surprise Marty appearance as well. Very rare, but he has appeared. Sunday streams, speaking of Marty.
And if I happen to stream, it's usually Saturday night, but
it's
that's not often enough that we mention it, but
right.
The last 2 Saturdays I think I have.
Who knows, maybe that'll turn into a Saturday Jesse thing. So but speaking of things, Sunday streams is Sunday Night Live, 7 p.m. Central. Marty tries to do them unless he's busy.
I feel like this, like Sunday stream started and I was like, yep, every Sunday night. And then like for the next 2 weeks, I'm not going to be able to do it. Actually the next 3 weeks. So
that's where I came in.
Maybe
and I did
rethink the
that's
Sunday
when I
streams.
came in and did that crappy Garten of Banban, apparently.
Well, so you could take it the next couple weeks if you want to. I've got a church event this coming week on Sunday, and then y'all, I'm gonna be honest with you. The next Sunday is AEW pay-per-view. It's Forbidden Door. I'll be watching that and then going to bed.
You'll be streaming live from AEW.
I wish, but
Marty freaking Estes.
The next, I have to get up the next morning at 5 o'clock and drive a busload of kids to camp for a week. And then the week after that, we also have a Sunday night event. So it's going to be few and far between for a little bit, but we'll get back in the swing of things. Sorry.
Somebody will be doing a Sunday stream.
Somebody will do a Sunday stream.
Somebody will do a Sunday stream. And it may not be 7 p.m. Central. It'll be sometime.
Sure.
Whatever we can jump on. So mine's usually around, probably, if we're talking Central Time, usually around 9 Central later on. So, or even later if I'm trying to do a scary thing.
Yeah.
All right.
I normally start around 8 or 9 whenever I stream.
The last, last but not least is the table, which is this Friday, or tonight if you're listening to the recording on the day we launched it. Every third Friday of the month at 10 p.m. Eastern, the community gets together for the table and we discuss whatever's on everyone's mind, which will probably be the direct. So Beer will probably come on and tell me why I'm crazy for not making such a big deal about not getting Wind Waker and the other game, Twilight Princess. So we'll talk about it there. You can hear about us talk about it there. And plus, we'll also be talking about all the cool stuff we did like there. And also, don't forget, mark your calendars for July's dinner table. Again, that's July 19th. All 4 dads will be on the dinner table.
That's right.
And we want to celebrate with you, our listeners, in Discord. Just chit chat about our 10 years or whatever's on your mind. So come hang out with all of us then there. And in order to be able to get on that Discord, again, like Marty said at the top of the show, you have to be a Patreon for at least $1 or more. Or if you're subscribing to Twitch, you can get in as well. And if you can't get in, if you're new and you're trying to figure it all out and it's not working, because sometimes, technology, just reach out to me, NeoPrime33, anywhere on social medias or Discord, and we'll figure it out. So, all right, that's it for socials, Marty.
All right. So that means it's the episode of 400 or the end of episode 483. We want to thank you for hanging out with us. And
Metroid Prime 4, woo!
Especially say a huge thanks to Patreon producer Eston for joining us this week. Man, thank you for your support. Thank you for your promotion of the show. Thank you for being a friend. A lot of people don't know, but or may not know that when Metroid Dread came out, Eston was vitally had a vital hand in me knowing when the amiibo went on pre-order, the collector's edition went on pre-order at GameStop, because you can only do it in store, and was able to get that. And so, man, thank you so much for everything, for supporting the show, and thank you for being on the show tonight.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, thanks for having me. Evelyn, thanks for being a friend too, as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. You can hang out with Eston and all of us over on our Discord if you go over to patreon.com like he did. Patreon.com/Nintendo Dads. You can become a patron of the show too. We want to say a huge thanks to our other Patreon producers as we close out the show. That's Dave Ernsberger, Jacqueline Amira, and RJ Kern, as well as our other 100 plus patrons who keep the lights on over here at Nintendo Dads HQ. We want to thank you guys so much, as well as 15 Twitch subscribers who give us their Twitch Prime subscription, over 1,450 Twitch followers, and over 7,560 YouTube subscribers. We're growing every day, and we say all this to simply say thank you guys so much for following the show, promoting the show, pushing on the show, commenting on our videos and our tweets and all kinds of other stuff. We would not be here if it weren't for you. Be sure to head over to nintendodads.org to check out our Spotify podcast feeds for our show, as well as Star Wars Dads, Dads After Dark, Retro Logic, and their family of podcasts, including Retro Logic, On Topic Retro, Retro Groove, and Film Logic. Our latest YouTube videos, tweets, links to all of our social media, Patreon, and Extra Life pages, and Nintendo Dads merch as well. Please check out our sponsors, Manscaped and Factor Meals. You can go over to manscaped.com and get 20% off your Manscaped order and free shipping with the code NINDADS. And factormeals.com, you get 50% off your first order with the code NINDADS50. So go and check that out. Email us at nintendodads@gmail.com or call in and leave a voicemail at 92925-NDADS. That's 929-256-3237. And we'll feature it on the show and answer your question or comment live. Big thanks to OC Remix for the music we use throughout the show. And a reminder, wherever you download us in your podcast catcher of choice, please leave us a 5-star review, recommend us, send a link, subscribe, hit the button, mash the thing, share us, push us on up the charts. Just helps spread the gospel of Nintendo Dad's goodness. For me, for Jesse, for Tim, and Eston, this has been episode 483. We'll see you next week, Yarn Kirby. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening into Nintendo Dads.
If this is your jam, you are screwed up.